There's a difference between subjective opinions and objective facts, which is why I'm able to recognise that Red Dead 2 is objectively trash.
Look, 12-year-olds, f*** off back to GTA Online.
Scott!
Hi.
What's the worst AAA video game of all time?
All of them, Dan Durkin. No, I'm kidding. I will talk about the fact that there are so many investments being made into the whole live service model, and I kind of feel, or I felt, like we were over the hump with them, and I feel like it will actually die when Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League comes out, because that should have come out like earlier in the year or last year or whatever, but I feel like we've had so many carcasses that we can just point out, so many autopsies that we can perform and pronounce the reason for death was that they plugged too many overly predatory monetization practices into these titles, and they were thoroughly rejected over and over and over again. So I don't have a specific one that I can point to, although pretty much is the Suicide Squad game, but it would be the Anthems, the Avengers, the Orc loot crates that were in Shadow of War, just any game where it's done, it's fine, there's things to play, but then some money person comes in meshing the fingers going, why don't we just sort of monetize this little bit, just a little bit more, try and wring some more, you know, mine the love and get the money out. And it's just that. So I'm doing a blanket statement. I know there's more specific things to come in here, or maybe they've already been before me in the edit, but I hate anything where you can sniff the money, you can see it a mile off, and thankfully we'll keep rejecting it. As a people, as a populace, we're mostly pushing it back, so we're doing pretty well, but the big fight is in 2024 for Suicide Squad, but that game's already dead.
But Scott,
Hi.
You like Gotham Knights, yeah?
I like Gotham. Not the weird, I don't even know what monetization practices are in that game.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that game that you can play without having to pay any money at all.
My question to you is,
Yes.
Are you going to play Suicide Squad?
No.
Okay.
Adam Strong, what's the worst AAA game ever?
Oh, okay, I am nervous to say this because Sai's in the room and she's going to elbow drop me when I say this.
The doors are locked.
I cannot run. So my pick is Resident Evil Village.
Oh!
Okay, so let me talk about this. So, I love Resident Evil. Sai knows that I love Resident Evil. We did a podcast on it recently. But, okay, so people will say to me like, yeah, but you know, a deviation from the normal formula can really work. And I agree, Resident Evil 7 was genuinely fantastic. One of the best of the entire series. I love that. It's like a, you know, like a grimy kind of VHS horror movie. Like it's that vibe. Something that you'd like find like under a couch when you're on holiday. Something like, what is this? Let's put it on. That's Resident Evil 7. Love that. Such a self-contained, beautiful game that then ties into, obviously, you know, the big Resident Evil lore. Resident Evil Village. The shooting mechanics are lovely. Yeah. No, honestly, I think it took the seeds of like Resident Evil 7 was like, ooh, they seem to like really like that we're leaning back into horror. Let's push into this big fantasy style horror where we've got vampires, where we've got werewolves. And I think for me, horror in that sense, I know like we're talking about zombies and everything like that, but it's just those lovely self-contained moments when you're like, Jesus, how am I going to survive this? And then suddenly when we're fighting like, Don't get me wrong, I love Lady Dimitrescu and everything like that. She's obviously an icon, she's giving mother. But to turn into bats and vampires, I'm like, oh, this isn't like Resident Evil to me. Like, if they did it as something like, I don't know, like Outbreak and took it out of the main series and said, this is something that's running alongside Resident Evil, fair enough. And like, sorry, the representation of Chris in that game is dreadful. But yeah, to put it into the main kind of like string of Resident Evil, you know, Sai, we talked about this, right? Like Resident Evil 9, I'm really intrigued how they're going to pull it back to the Resident Evil that we know. And I kind of feel like they took a little sidestep and then they took a really long run away from the franchise. And I'm really intrigued for them just to pull it back now because we've had this experiment. It was fun. Ethan Winters was just, yeah, he's gone. Who cared about him anyway?
Me!
Now, the one person. So now I'm really intrigued to see what we do with Resident Evil 9. Let's take it back. Let's do Death Island and bring them all together like the Avengers. But yeah, Resident Evil 8.
Joe, what's the worst AAA game ever?
GTA 5.
Fair.
Yeah. GTA 5, and by extension GTA Online, probably mostly GTA Online. Not for necessarily how those games play, because, you know, they play alright, they're quite fun in their own right, but for the damage that I would say GTA Online especially did to Rockstar, a once beloved company who now clearly doesn't give a shit. A company that is now, as you said before, smelt the money coming off GTA 5 and GTA Online, and it's a lot of money. And it's turned a company who used to be so invested in their storytelling and their event level games into just churning out more of this shit. And the worst thing is that, you know, they had Red Dead Online come out, and then they didn't even bother with that. But that was also ruined by the GTA Online players who then came to play Red Dead Online because they suck, right? You know, every time I went onto Red Dead Online, I would go into a town and there was always some fucking prick, right, just riding around each town, just shooting every NPC in like a stupid rampage massacre as if it was GTA 5. And it's like, look, 12-year-olds, play GTA 5 and GTA Online to do that shit, right? Let me enjoy my nicely paced Western experience. Fuck off back to GTA Online, right? Because you've already ruined Red Dead and everything Rockstar is going to do from now on by giving them more money and giving them more time. Because how many times have they re-released GTA 5 and GTA Online now? You know, we've had a rubbish Red Dead port. You know, we've had nothing else apart from GTA Online from Rockstar since. And I just think
You've had enough.
I think that was I've had enough. I had enough. I think you've had enough because I've forgotten where I'm going with this. But GTA 5 did the damage, started hammering the nails in, and this Red Dead port, that's probably the final nail. Just proof that they don't give a shit anymore. What happened to you, Rockstar?
Andy Murray, what is the worst AAA game of all time?
1 second. Let's begin my research project here. One of the most gorgeous, seamless games ever made. And if you voluntarily miss out on it, you're either not a gamer or in a coma.
Are these my reviews?
A new starting point for the genre and an incomparable masterpiece. The high level of craftsmanship in this game is evident in all its aspects, and it's genuinely one of the best games of its generation. These are objectively wrong opinions about the most boring video game I've ever played. Red Dead Redemption 2. The sacred cow of sacred cows. Look, I know what the gaming audience is thinking right now. You're from the wrestling channel. You don't play games. I play games, okay? I played them all. Sonic the Hedgehog, Kingdom Hearts, Metal Gear Snake. Played them all. Played them all. And let me tell you, Red Dead 2 destroyed my soul like nothing else in this known universe. I booted this thing up after spending a good, 7 days downloading it because for some reason it's 50 million gigabytes. I load it up thinking, yes, I'm going to be riding around the Wild West at 100 miles an hour, shooting bad guys, robbing trains. It's going to be a hoot. I didn't expect to spend 10 hours in the snowy mountains traipsing around for some loser who's gotten himself lost. Before you even get into the meat of this, you sit through an entire movie's worth of cutscenes, and then you push forward on your controller, and the guy moves like a slug going through glue, and it doesn't get any better. You can spend time in this game fishing. I would fire up a Dreamcast and play Sega Bass Fishing if I wanted that. You can bond with your horse to make it perform better and stuff. It's like, but look, I'm a mature adult. I can accept that some things are just not for me. I don't think it's a horrible game. I think it's a boring game. And there's a difference between subjective opinions and objective facts, which is why I'm able to recognize that Red Dead 2 is objectively trash, and that you should spend your time playing a real game like Elden Ring instead.
What's up, two people at the same time?
Elden Ring.